I came to, lying at the base of the column. It was quiet. I clearly remembered what had happened to me before the beast had leaped on me, and I clearly remembered what I saw next. The first familiar person I encountered on my way home that morning was my neighbor from the apartment across the street. I greeted her, but she gave me a strange look and walked past. As I opened the door, I felt her pause on the landing between floors, and turning around, I caught her strange, tense gaze. She hurried downstairs. This could have alerted me, given me a hint, a warning, but I paid no attention to this fleeting incident, and so I was completely unprepared for the fact that, after throwing off my dirty clothes and going into the bathroom, I saw an unfamiliar face in the mirror. This shock cannot be understood with the mind. It must be experienced. I had the sense not to look at my reflection anymore, and I also had the wit to convince myself that I was indescribably tired, that I was damn dirty, and that I only needed a good wash, a shave, and some rest for the mirror to reflect my familiar features again. I needed time to recover, just a little time. My underground travels had taught me to live by accepting everything that happened to me as a given. So, snorting in the shower and viciously scrubbing myself with a washcloth, I was completely calm and mentally prepared for anything. The face in the mirror was mine, but it had aged 15 years. I remember your puzzled expressions when I told you I was born in 1961. You wanted to ask something, but after thinking about it, you put it off. A simple calculation suggested 37, but you trusted your eyes more, and it turned out I couldn't be younger than 50. I really am 37. I can show you my documents, although I know it's not proof. No, I don't have AIDS or cancer, as my friends whisper behind my back, ready to pity me in advance and mourn my untimely death. And I don't use drugs. Rumor has it too. I find all these rumors quite amusing. I can also add that I haven't experienced any particular shock that would make your hair turn grey overnight. Look, I have a lot of black hair. I've simply aged. It's not just my face that has changed. I truly feel like I'm 50. My joints ache, my heart tingles, my liver aches in the mornings. I'm short of breath when I go up to my third-floor apartment. A week ago, I visited the optometrist and immediately ordered glasses, and the day before yesterday, I put them on for the first time in my life. They're good glasses, comfortable. If you feel like feeling sorry for me or offering condolences, don't waste words. I don't feel like a victim of circumstances. This is life, which I repeat, must be taken for granted. After the ophthalmologist, I went to see a psychiatrist and had a short conversation with him. I learned that I was mentally healthy and asked if I could get a certificate to that effect. He held out a pen and inquired about the organization that required such a certificate. I could have made up anything, but I said I needed one personally. At this point, our conversation lost its informality, and I heard a strange question. Is something bothering you? But you acknowledged my mental health without asking, I remarked. He put the pen away and said my request was somewhat unusual, and that, as a rule, Such certificates were only issued upon request from the relevant organizations. In other words, I concluded, the very fact that you are asking for such a certificate already indicates some kind of mental anomaly. Okay, fine. I'll bring the request. But after I get the certificate from you, I'll tell you that beneath Snezhinsk there's a huge dungeon inhabited by terrifying beasts. Will my story influence your diagnosis? He looked at me with a strange expression, and I realized I'd gone too far, thinking it best to leave immediately. As I left, I noticed him looking at the cover of my medical record, as if memorizing my name, or perhaps he was struck by my year of birth. I don't think that's where the rumor about my abnormality originated. Doctor-patient confidentiality is doctor-patient confidentiality. It seems I provoked the rumor myself by mentioning things I shouldn't have mentioned in a few places. It's odd. When I was a boy, not a single person knew about my underground adventures, not a single one of my closest friends, not a single girl whose imagination I desperately needed to impress. Although I remember well, the temptation was simply unbearable at times. Back then, as a child, I still managed to keep my secret intact. But now, my natural reserve is failing me more and more often. Perhaps my nerves are truly unsettled. However, the fact remains. People are whispering behind my back, gossiping about me, although if not for this whispering, you wouldn't even know I existed, or about anything else either. What's worse is something else. I felt quite a lot of attention being paid to me, and I can guess where it might be coming from. The first warning was the disappearance of all the photographs taken underground from my apartment. And there were quite a few of them, probably 100 or even more. When I came to my senses, I discovered that not only the photographs were missing, but also some of the diagrams that helped me navigate underground. Although this last loss doesn't really matter to me. I sense surveillance. Ordinary, banal surveillance. Don't rush to accuse me of persecution mania. If only for the simple reason that this surveillance doesn't bother me at all. I've already said, I'm not afraid of anything. And to convince you, look out the window. A good pun for your newspaper, huh? See that weirdo strolling around on Tchaikovsky Boulevard in the 30-degree frost? Well, he's not a weirdo. It's his job. To hell with all this. I want to summarize a few things.